Yeah, these shorts are very short as well, actually. I should probably
Are they Lowen shorts?
They are, yeah.
They're great.
Just pull them down a little bit.
Yeah.
Lovely, yeah. Represent.
Don't want to pop out mid-podcast.
Well, we'll get a lot of views if you do.
Before your account gets deleted, yeah.
Those aren't hidden.
Of all the ways I thought we could have got cancelled, I didn't think that would be it.
Well, apparently we're rolling, so.
Oh, great. Okay.
Well, I guess introduce you guys. Hello, welcome to Serpent Temple, chaotic introduction. I am Nina. This is Hidden Mothers.
Hello.
Please introduce yourselves to the camera and tell us what you do.
Okay, I'm Liam. I play bass and do shouting in Hidden Mothers.
I'm Luke. I sing and play guitar.
I'm Ari, and I play guitar, and that's...
You also do the tap dance.
I do the tap dancing as well, yeah. So I'm like the Bez, but with the pedals, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. You probably don't know, but I have a weird interview format.
Okay,
it's Psycards. They're based on the Jungian archetypes.
Oh, wow.
So we'll draw 3 cards, one each, past, present, future, and I'll read the descriptions of the cards from a little book, and you can tell me how that makes you feel.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's super fun.
The
Am I
past, your past.
Oh, do I reveal?
Reveal straight away.
Destruction! Amazing. So it's the number 18 for people who care about numbers. I will read you Destruction. So, this is a very old book. A scene of horror and carnage is depicted in a castle being stormed by medieval soldiers and a church burned, on brand. Fire, blood and cruelty are the order of the day. Also, a woman tied to a stake, helpless. War, vandalism, wanton and futile destruction are ultimately part of human nature. This is reflected in Indian mythology by the goddess Kali. This card depicts the element in our collective psychology. It is therefore a fearful one that warns of the destructive side of our own nature and that of others. It has a positive side. It is that without fire, sometimes nothing new can be built.
Oh. Well, that is certainly a lot. But I mean, the thing that it immediately made me think about was kind of what's been going on in the UK over the last couple of weeks. Like, you know, we've obviously had unrest and fire and destruction and vandalism and all those things that you mentioned in there. And you're right. You know, this sort of thing is part of human nature, and it's something that's unfortunately unavoidable, but it can lead to good things in a roundabout way. I guess that's how it's made me feel. It's made me reflect on what's been happening recently and how fucked up it is, and how I'm glad it seems to have, the horrible racist people seem to have disappeared back in their hole a little bit compared to the last couple of weeks. So, yeah.
What about musically? How do you feel about that from the standpoint of music? Well, I guess because interestingly, your direction has gone from being like more heavy to having a bit more of like almost vulnerability there as well. Yeah,
I mean, we've always tried to have vulnerability, but I do think that is probably reflected more in our newer material than it is in the older stuff. It's a tough one to answer on the spot, but I think that kind of combination of, you know, violence and aggression, balanced with vulnerability and balanced with emotion and balanced with humanity is something that we definitely try and put out there. I guess we can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that highlights both ends of the spectrum when you contrast them together. So, mad respect.
Oh, thank you.
The present.
Oh, the present. It's like ghost of past, present. I mean, there isn't a ghost of future, is
There is a ghost.
Are you going full,
there is.
Are you going full Muppets Christmas Carol?
I'm going Muppets, yeah. I'm going Muppets. Beats that. Best film.
The moon.
The moon. Wow. All right. Let me read you the moon. It's really cool. It's got a crab on it. Crabs are very nice. Crab. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Bringing it back. K25. Hidden
More
Mothers.
contrast, vulnerability, heaviness, and crabs.
I'm not having a crab coronation, I won't stand for it.
I will read you the crab moon. A crab reaches up out of the sea across rocks towards the majestic full moon. The moon is a feminine symbol and therefore stands for the female instincts, the maternal and the unconscious self. It represents the intuitive understanding and healing processes of change. However, it may be a sign of fickleness, illusion, and falsity. The crab in this represents the illusion of toughness, yet a soft inner self. I mean, you are hidden mothers.
We are, yeah. Which
definitely have inner softness.
Are you crabs?
Well,
I really thought thought about it. But
I mean, I just, I mean, there is. It's weird, that name, because that name, you kind of just, that name becomes associated with your band, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you do forget like the femininity in the name, and that like there is kind of an image when you think of our band name, and it does conjure up the picture of a hidden mother. And we forget that, because when I just think of hidden mothers, I just think of Ari in his Leicester shirt, tapping his pedals, and then forget there's like that whole kind of element of kind of femininity that. Which, I mean, I hope that we haven't borrowed, but I hope that we are kind of.
I don't think we've appropriated.
No, but it's just kind of there's just like it's like there's an imagery associated with our band, and it is a feminine one, which I think is great. And it's an interesting thought. Yeah, which I've never thought of before. Yeah.
I think you can have femininity and be a guy. Like,
of course,
everyone's got
yeah.
moments of softness. Yeah.
And I guess that whole, if you put these two together.
Oh. It's a
you've kind
barbecue.
of got the violence and the destruction.
You've got male and female.
And absolutely, masculine and feminine
the crab
energies.
Is hard on the outside and soft on the inside as well. So,
It's hidden within our hard
shells.
Exactly.
Soft messages.
Yeah.
Soft messages.
Yeah.
Nice.
This one made me think of the Peasants' Revolt in 1381, but that's because I'm a history teacher.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
I don't have an historical event for a crab.
We should have got all of the cards, because I just fucking love them.
Yeah, I know. We probably got the wrong cards. Because I could have talked to. I've just been reading about the Spanish Civil War, the miners' strikes. I've got so much for that. Crabs.
The cards are never wrong.
Yeah. And you could have linked this to Pokemon as well.
I could have done.
Oh, you're a Pokemon guy. Oh, yeah. Which generation? Like originally?
He's a Pokemon,
to be honest. But I do have a Gyarados tattoo.
Oh my god! Is it the red Gyarados?
Yeah.
Oh, sick, mate. That's.
See? Finally among my people.
What did you think of the most recent one?
The game or
the Switch game?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. It was okay, but it was so glitchy.
Yeah. I disappeared into a tree at one point. Yeah.
It was like playing Nintendo again for the first time, just getting stuck in walls and shit. Yeah, sorry. We digress.
We've derailed. Cool.
Yeah, alright. The future.
Well, the future.
You are the future.
I'll take this and this. So I have the tower.
The tower. Okay. Alright. Post-destruction tower. Oh shit!
Oh,
that is literally like the cover. Yeah.
It resembles a Motte and Bailey castle.
It is a Motte and Bailey.
Oh, I love this
I went to
historical
Dudley and it looks like the
angle.
castle in Dudley.
Although it would need a courtyard at the bottom, which you can't see.
And a Motte.
Except this castle doesn't
Well, that
have a
is the
door.
Motte. You're thinking of a moat, that's a different thing.
It doesn't have a door.
It's a doorless castle. That's the mystery of the tower.
Oh.
So, the tower. A castle stands on a hillside without a moat or visible door. Proud, stern, and unyielding. The symbol represents an achievement gained in the face of adversity, like releasing an album or EP, and reflects sometimes the arrogant conscious mind repressing the unconscious mind beneath it. It can often presage the pride that goes before a fall. It can also stand for male sexuality.
Of course.
It's a bit phallic.
It is very phallic, isn't
Yes.
Is that where you're going to jump
I think-
on the phallic?
You're going to jump on the phallus.
You're going to take me to dinner first. I think it does all sit together very nicely, because it does, I guess the themes of the album that we have is this kind of society that looks strong but is indeed almost crumbling from the outside. From the inside out. So that's how it makes me feel. I guess that's where I would go with that.
Yeah.
And I think it does link the three very nicely together. And it looks like the album art. It looks like the album art.
This sort of looks like the album. It feels like isolated.
Yes, very. The album art.
Oh, the album
That was my
art.
accent.
Yeah.
Album art. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Thick Leicester accent.
It feels isolated in the same way that our record cover, the building on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the whole idea was like supposed to be like internal and external decay, wasn't it? And just kind of isolation and just.
The
I mean,
mix.
it sounds quite cliche when you say it, but it was supposed to be trying to get the idea. The reason why the album art is a tower in the middle of nowhere is it's supposed to be representing there's a person on that tower, which we specifically said we wanted, because that represents the internal like decay, and then the societal decay, because the album basically talks, there's a lot about mental health and there's a lot about mental illness, so that's the internal decay, and then there's the external stuff, because there's a lot of political stuff. Obviously there's we don't shy away from the anti-fascist themes and
Hell
stuff
yeah.
on the album and things like that, and
The new single in particular.
the new Pink single in particular, and the Grey, which that made me think of, which I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Because the Grey's all about the defanging of the working classes and how violence can be used.
Like oppress people.
Yeah.
Or violence can be used in a bad way, as we're just talking about what's going on now.
Yeah.
But it
Precisely.
can be used in a positive way
Yeah.
to bring change about in society. I don't know. Yeah. We just got it. There's the album there.
It looks.
Summed up.
You're right here.
Yeah, the crab, especially, is.
There's a lot of like relationships between the inside and outside in these cards
Absolutely.
and your album, which is really
Yeah.
interesting. Have you guys read or seen High Rise?
No.
Oh, you might like that. It's quite relevant. It's about like a building, and like the higher you are living in the building, the higher your class. And it's all self-contained. Like everything you need to live or eat is in the building, and then people just go mental and start killing each other.
Is it a bit like not Bullet Train? What's that film?
Judge Dredd is the same.
Judge Dredd as
Judge
well,
Dredd,
I
yeah.
think
They have
is
the,
it J.G.
yeah.
Ballard that wrote it? Yeah. So it's like a political thing from like the early 20th century.
So those things that we just mentioned are probably
Influenced.
Based on it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a class breakdown and like how that would look when people start like eating each other's dogs and like it's really crazy. Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I have to look at that.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, but this is really interesting. I like the historical angle as well, and that you're not shying away
No,
from
yeah,
the.
Yeah, I do like history.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be in the job otherwise. Yeah.
What's your era that you particularly go for?
I mean, I'm particularly interested personally in working class history. I don't specialise in any form of history, but I'm mainly interested in working class history, and that's the kind of history I like reading about and talking about.
Singing about.
Singing about.
Yeah.
What are the earliest records of the working class, or is it like specifically in Britain, or do you?
That's a good question. I mean, there's a whole. I mean, I'm scared of saying something historically inaccurate now. But I mean, there's whole like for years and years, the working classes went unrecorded completely, pretty much. Like, I mean, if you look at the Doomsday Book, which was one of the earliest recordings in this country of kind of, I guess, records of like financial records and so forth, and a lot of that is based around landowners, and most people weren't landowners. I mean, it references tenants and things of own, but lots of the working classes often have gone ignored
Voiceless,
and
yeah.
voiceless.
Yeah.
And but I mean, at the same time, there's whole swathes of people who talk about how in some ways the working classes have lost some rights as well since like the medieval period. Like, there's
They're more holidays, right?
Yeah, like there is things like that more than I'm qualified to talk about. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting to think. Yeah.
This is the classiest interview we've ever done.
And then
Thank you. We talked about phalluses and crabs.
It's not a high bar.
So if you guys had a time machine, you could go back to any era of history. Where would you go?
Wow.
I mean, all of the really interesting periods of history, for me at least, and I would definitely say that my knowledge of history is less extensive than Luke's, but I feel like all of the eras of history that are really interesting are also really bad, and I don't know if I'd particularly want to visit any of them.
If you had like a day and you wouldn't get sick.
Or killed. I don't know. Selfishly, I'd probably go and see like late 80s to early 90s hardcore shows. I just want to go and see like
Wait, weren't
Peak
you-
Minor Threat.
weren't you like 25 and like 1999 anyway?
No.
Drop the skin
You're
routine.
like 18 though, weren't you?
I was not. I was born in 1986.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't-
That's me not being good with numbers.
Shots fired.
You're like
I'm
15
a
then.
historian.
I wasn't old enough to see Peak Minor Threat.
Oh no.
No.
But you could see. You saw like Have Heart.
I saw them like.
Nice.
Well, no, I was
Back
gonna
in
say I
the
saw
day.
them. I didn't know.
No.
So maybe I
you
would've
could have
liked-
done
I could
if you had better taste in music.
It's all coming out.
Honestly, he did an interview over there where he's going on about how much he loves Nickelback, and now he's going with with the
compensating.
personal jabs. Like I think we might be done. I'm only joking.
But I do like a Nickelback ballad.
I know
That is
you
just
do.
the truth.
I know
That's just
you do. We'll work on that.
We'll work on that.
Was your historical time
Oh,
machine
I don't
going?
know. It's really hard. I don't know. I'm really interested in kind of looking back in family history as well. So like I've always found that interesting, and I've always wanted to know what my family would have been like, because there's a song about it on the record called Grandfather, which is kind of me looking back at like my family, which is like a long line of working class men and women, who haven't had the fortunate life that I've had. You know, I mean, obviously I'm from working class background, but you know, I've been quite fortunate, and you know, there's probably been a lot of struggle in my lineage,
Yeah.
and as there is most people's lineages of you know who have them kinds of backgrounds, and I would always want to know what their lives were like and who they were and what they went through and what they always, like the song Grandfather was always kind of saying, is the world the way it is what you would have wanted and what you worked for, and you know what in some cases
squandered the opportunities that you worked
it's like
for,
you know because society is constantly moving towards, and it says it's constantly moving to improve itself.
Jury's out.
200 years ago, you know, like 200 years ago, you know, I had some ancestors that came over from Ireland. Would they have imagined what they were working for coming to this country? Would they be disappointed to see how little life has improved vastly as well? Obviously, I'm not, you know, there is
some areas.
The quality of life is considerably better for everybody, but just is the changes happened that they wanted to happen? Do you know what I mean? Don't really know where I'm going with it, but you kind of get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I get
I
you.
listened to Grandfather earlier today and was like, yeah, this is like really, really heartfelt. Yeah, absolutely.
Very like the most like reflective. It's the only kind of really reflective song on the like. I feel like it's maybe the most personal. I mean, you write all the lyrics, but I feel like that one is like about as personal as it's possible for a song to be, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're all pretty personal.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that one is specifically actually using the word grandfather in a song is particularly like potent. It's very like that is a person I'm talking to in the song.
Yeah.
You know, none of which obviously are alive anymore. Any of the people I'm talking about in the song, but yeah.
What you said about improvement is like super interesting, because I feel like I get you. I think we confuse improvement with consumerism, because we have like so much stuff. It's like overwhelming, but it's not necessarily good that you can just like order something and it arrives the next day.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's just
like a society feels better in terms of like, you know, look at all this infrastructure and stuff, but at the same time, the people who are in charge of that are still don't have our best interests at heart, and there's still a class divide, and
almost increased.
Yeah.
Like there feels
Post-COVID, especially, like you look at the figures, like the
crazy.
gap between the richest and the poorest in society is bigger than it's been for a very long time. And
Since the French Revolution, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
the wealth
But
disparity.
it's also like, I don't know, it's also like, is there an element of the people who I'm talking about 200 years ago who were working in the mines, they were farming, they were doing these back-breaking jobs, which I don't do, would they look and see this world as a utopia, or do they see it as being still just exactly the same?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's kind of the whole point of the song. It's kind of like, is this what you hoped
imagined it would
for?
be.
If they fucking hope for anything, because life was probably pretty... Sorry, I'm not allowed to swear.
Oh, you can say whatever you
Oh,
want.
yeah.
We've been talking about dicks and crabs.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot about the dicks and crabs. Yeah, but like, is this what they would have hoped for, or is it not? Or you know, or am I putting words in their mouth? Did they not hope for anything? Did they just kind of get on with their day-to-day lives and get through it as people do today?
Day at a time, yeah, like a lot of people do.
Yeah, not everyone has the privilege to stop and think about whether this is the world that we want to live in. Or not.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Where's your time machine going?
Please say something funny.
I think I've kind of been inspired by your pendant. Are you Persian, perchance?
Yes, are you?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Ahura
mate.
Mazda. So,
Hell yeah.
I'm thinking of maybe going back thousands of years to the Persian
Same.
Empire. So, like, this is like the cradle of art and poetry, and to see that firsthand would be incredible. There's still the class divide 5,000 years ago. You have like the kings like Xerxes and with hordes of gold, and then the poorer people keeping the empire afloat. But I think it'd be nice to be part of the upper class.
Do you speak Farsi?
None at all. I know the word
Oh.
for dog. And
Sag.
yeah, sag. Yeah.
Did your dad
Salam
say that
kubi?
often,
Yeah.
or like?
Yeah, I took like classes for Farsi, but
Oh,
never.
bless.
I know, I never really.
I have at-home Farsi, so I can tell you the washing machine's done.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Ideal. Yeah.
That would have been really useful in the Persian Empire.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, in the Persian Empire, they actually had like women were paid the same as men.
Yes.
And they had
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maternity leave, and like
Yeah.
in Persepolis, like they didn't use slaves at all to build it. They actually there's like records of payments, and like, there's like women overseeing the construction.
It was quite a flat society,
Yeah.
like quite a socialist ideology 5,000 years ago.
Iranians did it first, mate.
The Iranians
Yeah.
were there first. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that was a really profound answer. I was expecting you to say something to do with football. To be honest. I was thinking, like, the Leicester City.
I've seen all the best parts of Leicester City already. We
Yeah,
won the
that
league,
was
like
like
fine.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it's only like recent history. It's fine. So yeah,
Didn't Gary Lineker used to play for Leicester?
of course he did. Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Crisps.
He's Mr. Crisps.
Did you remember Gary Lineker playing for Leicester?
No, I
So,
don't. No.
I don't know if that was.
I'm surprised it's not called like Gary Salt and Vinegar or something.
Well,
Like-
they
But they
Oh,
did
did
something.
they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they did.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good marketing. Yeah.
Society's never really got better than that, I think.
Not
That was-
really.
it peaked at Salt and Lineker, and it's all.
It's all downhill. That was the tipping point. So that was the tipping point. It's all gone to shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Salt and
See you
Lineker's
back again.
perfect.
I want to go back to Salt and Lineker, please.
Bring it back.
Things seemed simpler when I was 11.
Playing Pokemon Yellow for the first time.
Absolutely.
That was the
That
best.
could have been my answer as well. Yeah, we could be here all day, honestly.
We have to have a Pokemon talk after this. Oh, it was so cool talking to you guys. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Genuinely a really cool, different interview
Oh.
format.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stunning.